ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. Om. Okay, we're continuing the today's Sunday and Gita. So the fourth chapter, various yajnas we were discussing. In these yajnas, Dravya Yajnas, Tapo Yajna. We discussed Dravya Yajna elaborately yesterday. Okay. Now, the purpose of Dravya Yajna is distributing Dravya, not simply distributing, giving with all respect, respectfully, humbly, and with devotion. Three things are here. Respect to the person whom you are giving. Second is humility on our part. In giving some wealth or objects or something, we should give up our ownership on the object. Whatever I offer, offering the object means I give up my ownership. Not only simply giving up ownership over it, but also recognize a fact. What is that? I got this opportunity. All this is found in Veda also. Shraddhaya deyam, ashraddhaya deyam, shriya deyam, bhiya deyam, samvida deyam. Taittiriya says. Taittiriya Upanishad talks of this whole mantra. All these mantras talk of how the dana should be given. Should be given with shraddha, with humility, respectfully, and understanding that these wealth and objects have been given to me as a gift by God. They have been given to me as a gift by Bhagavan himself. So I can't claim to be the owner of it, that I am able to give it to others. See, a owner alone can give something to others. Am I a owner of anything on the earth? First, I recognize that I am a jiva. I myself am a jiva who received the various objects around me. Various whatever things I have, I received as a blessing of God only to use them. The things which I am using or which I have are not produced by me, or not created by me. It is Bhagavan who creates them. And then they are created by him. Their capacity, their strength, their power, the utility means how they can be used. All these Bhagavan himself created. Ishvara himself created. Then what I do is I am only just using them. So in that I recognize that it is Ishvara's creation. These are Ishvara's objects. He has allowed me to use it. So he is giving me again this opportunity to give it to his own people. Therefore here I discover a humility in offering. So one, humility. The person whom I give, I should have a respect for him. Then not only respect, see him as symbol of Bhagavan only. He is a representative of Bhagavan only. I am offering back to Bhagavan in the form of this person. So this respect, humility, and an adoration or a devotion, all these go with dhanam. Then it becomes a yajna. That's why Bhashyakara told here, it is, what does the shloka say? Sarvani indriya karmani, dravya yajna. Dravya yajna tirtheshu dravya viniyogam. Dravya are the objects, useful objects in life, wealth. It is viniyogaha. They are used, they are given away. How tirtheshu? Tirtha word means two things. One is the holy places. Second is the adhikari, the fit people who deserve to receive danam. All these things I think I don't have to discuss. We discussed in the last class, and there are so many rules about it, because money should not go waste, and also go waste means it shouldn't reach the lazy people. The money shouldn't be given to people who abuse it. If it is done for other political, social, economic purpose, that's not called a charity. It should be done more as a Shraddha and Bhakti, with a devotion and faith. Okay, that's why he says Yajna Buddhya Kurvanti. See Bhashakara's explanation. One is Tirtheshu, for the holy people and the holy places, holy time, holy conditions. Second is Yajna Buddhya. I am doing this as a Yajna. Okay, Kurvanti Te Dravya Yajna. So, in a way we have concluded it. Now we'll go to the next. Tapo Yajna. Tapas simply means endurance of all kinds of sufferings. Endurance of physical suffering, physical inconvenience, economic poverty, physical inconvenience. This is called endurance is called tapas. Okay, tapo yajna. Here our traditional people say krichra chandrayanadi lakshanam. Tapo nanashanat param. Regarding tapas itself, there are so many statements scattered in Veda, Purana, Upanishads all over. Tapas itself becomes one volume, you can say. Dana becomes one volume. If you talk of dana, charity, there is one volume, there may be more also. So much details about it. Then yajna, I think the more than one volume. Regarding yajna, so many volumes. If you compile all the ideas scattered in all over Veda, Shastra, Puranas, they would constitute more than one volume. Similarly, dana. Similarly, tapas. See, three things: yajna, dana, tapas. Tapas is also a yajna. Tapas means endurance, as I told you. So, Upanishad 1 says, tapo nanashanat param. There is no suffering greater than. Suffering means endurance of suffering. There is no endurance of suffering. That is a religious tapas. There is no tapas greater than fasting. Anashanam. Ashanam, eating. Anashanam, fasting. There is no tapas greater than fasting. Tapo nanashanat param. Okay. Anashana is fasting. Fasting also, there is a systematic fasting. How to do, how many days, in what manner they give them. Gradually one has to increase inner strength. Inner strength means body also should get used to it little bit. Body gets a little bit used to it, and also mind also should not feel highly disturbed with it. Patiently, humbly, God is giving me strength and helping me to do it. With a more positive mind, you have to endure the suffering arising in wake of fasting. Okay, the pain, the suffering. So in ancient days, there used to be lot of tapas. People had endurance level. The endurance level of earlier generations was very high. Nowadays it is very, very less. Endurance level of earlier people was very, very high. Even in our childhood we used to have, in our younger days, lot of. Nowadays there is no such a tapas at all. High tapas. Tapas in fact, if you read the Yoga Shastra, Patanjali Yoga Shastra, this endurance at each sense organ level, some kind of a suffering is there. You endure it. You endure it in such a way that you cultivate the power. You cultivate a power of each sense organ, and later your sense organ becomes a supernormal. You start getting a yogic power. Yogic power at the level of eyes, yogic power at the level of ears, Yogic power at the level of tongue, at the level of smell, you can feel many things. Each sense organ can develop into develop certain yogic power. There are so many yogic ways. All these tapas are given in Yoga Shastra. Mind also, there are different ways of sadhanas. But here what is talked about is a simple endurance. The purpose of endurance is purifying the mind, making a person humble and egoless, and discover a devotion to Bhagavan. And ultimately, purification of the mind is most important. Because all sufferings in life are impurities. Where are the impurities? More and more our consciousness is associated with anatma. Anatma is mind, emotions, thoughts, convictions, ideas, prana, body, sense organs and external world. All this is anatma, prakriti. More and more our mind is identified, associated with the body, mind and sense organs. More you are impure. More you get detached from these things, mind becomes so free and relaxed and less dependent. When mind is less and dependent on emotions, thoughts, experiences, see, the modern civilization is more and more of dependent on external objects. That's why the mind is becoming too dull and incapable. It's not creative. It's not sattvic. Because it loves to indulge in pleasures and entertainment, activity, relationship, more and more these things. But the tapas helps you to detach from the external things. Tapas to certain degree, some kind of tapas, and to certain degree, everybody needs it. Particularly even Vedantic sadhaka also needs. In fact, life itself should be a disciplined, a moderate life, a temperate life. Moderate life, not overindulging in any pleasures, because overindulging makes the body numb. Mind also becomes some kind of a lethargy. It loses its sensitivity. It loses that spiritual sensitivity, yogic sensitivity. Sensitivity, 3 types. So one is a normal sensitivity. Okay? Mind becomes sensitive. Artists also sensitive. Okay? Art requires a sensitivity. Poets are sensitive because their observation is very good. Poets observe, artists observe. Yogic sensitivity is another type. Poetic, artistic sensitivity can be called as a normal sensitivity. But yogic is in another sensitivity. Vedantic is still a deeper sensitivity. Okay? So the mind has to grow in terms of its sensitivity. Sensitive means capable of observing and discovering certain deeper level. Okay? That's, in this sense, I mean sensitive. I don't know what you take the word English. The English word sensitive may mean something. Here, sensitivity means it is capable of seeing something deeper. It is capable of observing and discovering and seeing something deeper level, much deeper level of life. So, common sensitivity is, because the sensitive word is a too common word, you can use a negative sensitivity also. People are too sensitive, we call them in English. Too sensitive means anything you touch them, criticize them, even unintentionally touch something, the fellow feels hurt. Sensitive means people are too sensitive in the sense they feel hurt, they feel offended. Even unintended meaning also they feel offended. You just say a comment on something, they feel offended. This kind of sensitivity they call not sensitivity, but that is that is an abnormal sensitivity. That is neither spiritual nor yogic nor artistic. That is a abnormal psychological sensitivity. That develops because if a person is too much hurt, too deeply hurt and exploited and tortured, such persons develop that unnecessary sensitivity. We are not talking of that kind of sensitivity. Okay? But a normal person's sensitivity is, at least is loving and caring and understanding. That is a good positive sensitivity. You love, care and understand others' difficulty. You are not insensitive. You are not sadistic. Sadistic person is too insensitive. Okay? When I am ragging people, I am teasing people. When I comment on people negatively, I am not aware or I ignore how other people are hurt. So, when you are a caring and loving person, you don't think of, you cannot hurt others. So this is a normal, good, healthy sensitivity, which is a part of, which definitely goes with a love and care and understanding, sympathy, in all these positive qualities. So this is one thing. But this is a normal sensitivity. The same sensitivity, if it is deepened and widened, it is made, it is a more a yogic sadhana, it is a meditative. The same sensitivity done as a meditation, if it is applied in a worldly meditation, the sensitive mind is applied in a given field for continuously for long time. Okay? Sensitive come creative mind. Sensitive come creative mind is applied in a given situation, in a given context for a long time. You pursue it. That becomes further purified, further deepened. This is applied in music, in art and poetry. That is normal. Normal means it is good. The same sensitivity, the concentration, the meditation come sensitivity, applied in yogic sense. Okay? One is artistic, poetic. Second is yogic. Third is Vedantic. Okay? Vedantic is more comprehensive. Why I put Vedantic final? Because Vedantic is more comprehensive. One is a negative sensitivity that you leave with them, abnormal sensitivity that you leave them. But a positive, good sensitivity in art and poetry, you apply it, you become a better person. Okay? You become a better personality. You understand, a loving, caring person, you understand that. You become a good person. Then if it is applied in a yogic way, in a particular area your mind grows and develops. It is a little supernormal. You develop some kind of powers, either natural powers or some kind of powers, you develop them. Mind starts seeing something deeper things which ordinary people can't see. Okay? Then Vedantic is comprehensive. You become sensitive to the whole wakeful consciousness. Okay? The entire waking state. All people, all human beings, all living beings, everybody you include it. It is unprejudiced. It is not selective. Vedantic sensitivity is not selective. You become whole towards the whole cosmos. All living beings, non-living beings, everybody, you become very, very compassionate, kind and natural feelings. Neither exaggerated feeling, neither you are against them, nor you are fond of a given people or a given things. You just a detached, a selfless love towards all. So this kind of a positive, good sensitivity. This grows only when you start purifying it. Krichra Chandrayana. Shankaracharya says, Krichra is one tapas, one fasting, one way of fasting. Chandrayana is another way of fasting. I'll just briefly narrate here. These were held in ancient days. I think these days some of the Jainas follow. I think even now the Jainas fasting has come down. A few decades ago they were doing much more. Some of them do even now. Gandhiji has that background. He was doing fasting for days together. Days, I think 20-30 days is he would do easily. 20-30 days. 25 days, 30 days he would do fasting. Jainas do even up to 70 days. Oh, 70 days, can you imagine? They fast. So that requires a great discipline. So your body becomes weak, but mind still gets confidence. It doesn't lose confidence, doesn't lose its positiveness, doesn't lose its faith in Ishvara, Bhagavan, and still it holds on to Loving compassion. You feel that you are in the loving what you say, care of God, loving care of Bhagavan. You are still in the loving care of Bhagavan. He is positively looking after me. He cares me. I am under his care. I don't have to lose his heart, lose my heart. So that is the strength. With a devotion, you do it. So this is, anyway, I'll tell you briefly here, Krichra. Krichra is a 3 days fasting. First day, you take a small vessel of this much, okay, small vessel. With that small vessel, first day you take ghee. Ghee means, the clarified butter, the burnt butter, which is boiled butter. When you boil it, it becomes clear and becomes ghee. Ghritam in Sanskrit, ghee. So with a small vessel of this type, you take once, and then the remaining day nothing you eat, just one day. Second day, with that same vessel, take one time milk of that same quantity for the whole day, for whole 24 hours, nothing else. Second day. Third day, take with that same thing just warm water of that small vessel. I think modern cup, coffee cup, half of that modern cup. Now Indian cup, I think. I have seen some of the people, they start using mug only. Some people take coffee with a mug only. I'm talking of normal small cup, half of that cup. Half of that cup, first day you take ghee and nothing else. The whole day you fast. Second day, milk of that measure. Third day you take of hot water of that. Hot means warm water. Okay, that's all. Then nothing else. So these 3 days you do continuously. One Krichra Vrata. It's a difficult whole day fasting. 3 days. This same thing is repeated. The 3 days are repeated. Krichra is called Mahakrichra, Krichra, Atikrichra, Krichra, Trikrichra. Up to 12 days you can do like that. You repeat the same 3 days cycles into 4 times. That becomes Mahakrichra. 12 days people do that. People were doing in those days. Okay. Then Chandrayana. Chandrayana consists of 1 month fasting. Fasting in a particular way. One is you take that as the waning and waxing of the moon. As the moon rises, increases, you start increasing one piece of food. One morsel of food. Purnima day you eat complete. Only one time food. Only one time Purnima day you eat stomach full. And see how much you can eat on Purnima day. The same thing you cut down. You cut down one morsel. Second day again cut down. Only once you eat that day. Third day still cut down. For the Amavasya day, complete fasting. Then from the Amavasya means no moon. Purnima means full moon day. Purnima is full moon day. Amavasya is no moon day. So no moon, total fasting. The next day take one morsel only. As the moon rises, the next day to no moon day, the moon rises only in a small thin ray. What you say that? Thin ray like. A thin, what you say? A line, small line like that. So that day you take only one morsel. That's all, whole day fasting. Second day 2 morsels. Third day 3 morsels like this. Like this gradually you go it. Oh, it becomes very difficult. Certain days becomes very difficult. So 1 month of fasting. This is called Chandrayana. Ayana means movement. Chandra. The fasting according to the movement of the moon is called Chandrayana. Chandra Ayana. Ayana is movement. Chandrayana. According to the movement of moon, you do this fasting. So, this fasting, one more thing you have to remember. This fasting day, no resting. This modern fasting, Gandhiji's fasting is lie down on the bed. It's not that way. On fasting, you have to do all your activities normally. Like means take bath, daily 3 times taking bath, doing japa, sandhya vandana, and not heavy lifting and all that. But at least the routine, your rituals, your prayers, all those things you should do normally. That you should not stop. Not lying down. You may rest for a while, short while, but not lying on the bed and comfortably. That fasting is a political fasting. Gandhiji's, you leave them. You have to sit the whole day. After fasting, not lying down. You're not supposed to sleep. Sleep only during night, not the daytime. So that is the fasting. So this is meant for So this is a purification. Fastings of different levels, different ways are there. Ultimately, because eating gives food to two things. One is energy to the body, strength to your body and sense organs, body and senses. Second is your mind also eats. Okay, mind eats. Mind also eats the food you watch. Mind becomes restless. That restlessness of the mind should go. Main purpose is on the mind. The effect should be on the mind, not on the body. Body, okay. Body should not be too much. The effect should be on the mind. The purpose of fasting is on the mind. So, the physical inconvenience, mind should be able to tolerate. Pleasantly tolerate, without grudgingly, not with an anger. Okay? Not with stubbornness. Stubbornness, like Gandhiji's fasting, is a stubbornness. Okay? A vengeance. Fasting shouldn't be neither by vengeance, nor by stubbornness, nor by competition. It should come naturally, out of love, out of devotion to Bhagavan. Then it becomes tapas. Just for no reason, simple natural endurance. Because that makes a person very gentle, very loving, very generous-hearted person if you do that. Okay? So this is tapo yajna. Tapas is generally, here he has taken only in fasting, but tapas can be taken endurance of many other things also. Your daily life routine activity also, there will be a lot of sufferings. Physical, economic, social, various kinds of sufferings. All kinds of sufferings you humbly, obediently endure them without grumbling, without grudging, without hating further, without revenge. That kind of suffering is called tapas. That's why we have many stories in Puranas. Some of the rishis, when they keep on enduring for months and years together, they lose patience. They become very sensitive, get angry. Therefore, they end up cursing others. So all that energy, the yogic power, yogic energy they accumulate, they just curse in cursing others. This is important. During tapas, what is important during tapas is never utter a curse. Most important during the tapas is never abuse others, never curse others, never get angry. If you get angry, the tapas, the result of tapas, the energy you have accumulated over a period of time, over months and years, all that gets drained away. Therefore, tapasvi, the test of tapasvi is no anger. That's why in Puranas we have got plenty of stories. Any rishi who starts his endurance, the practice of endurance, all people around him, whether human beings, animals, or even gods, they all come and disturb him. Disturb him two ways. One by tempting him into money and pleasures and all other things. Other is unnecessarily creating nuisance to him. So one is a tempting, another is disturbance. They are trying to test his patience. So has that tapas culminated in his endurance, or he loses temper and gets angry and curses people? Okay? And in Ramayana, when Ramachandra goes there, he finds at one place in a Rishi Mandala, in a colony of rishis, a forest colony, a colony in the forest. In the Rishi Mandala, he sees a heap of bones. He asks, what is all this? Ramachandra asks. And you know what the rishis say? These are the bones of thousands of rishis. Thousands of rishis? What happened to them? He says the Rakshasas who are moving around here in Dandakaranya, they have eaten away rishis. They eat the living rishis, they took them and eat them, and the bones remained there. Oh, terrible thing. We had jihadis in those time also. In those time also we had jihadis. It looks jihadis. Ravana looks like a jihadi only, at least partly. So, and then Ramachandra says, oh my God, rishis have been eaten. Then the other rishi says, we never uttered curse. Our other rishis who died in the hands of Rakshasas, we could have cursed those Rakshasas, but we never uttered. Because if we utter the curse, the Ravana would die, but we would also, at least Ravana would be incapacitated, but we will lose our power also. We didn't want to do. We want to develop, cultivate the inner strength, spiritual strength by further enduring. Whatever the amount of pain, just endure. Never utter a curse. If you do it for at least a few years, 1 year, complete 1 year, you get lot of patience. Patience. I tell you, immense patience. And that mind of immense patience becomes antarmukha. It has got a lot of strength. It can see in Vedantic Vichara, it will be highly useful. For Vedantic Vichara, because most of our energy will be wasted, gets dissipated, drained away, mind gets irritated because of the surroundings, events, a lot of events around people's behavior, events, activity, circumstances, they irritate us. And in spite of irritation, a person remains patient. Patience. Tapas is in a way patience. Endurance means patience that keeps your mind undisturbed. Okay, it's a great tapas. Tapo yajna. For this, different ways we explain. I think I told you it will come in the 18th chapter. Tapas, they divided into three level. One is body level tapas, endurance of suffering at the body level, endurance of inconvenience at the level of speech. In while speaking, certain rules and restrictions are: speak gently, don't abuse others, don't criticize others. Means don't you have jealousy, harsh way of talking. That's because the speaking, along with speaking goes lot of patience. If you have lot of patience while speaking, that is a tapas at the level of speaking. Satyam, ahimsa, speaking truth, and then also gently, all these things. Then the ahimsa at the level of mind. That means not having any prejudices, and also not condemning others, not thinking negatively about others. Thinking negatively is a loss of tapas at the level of mind. Tapas at the level of the mind requires a good opinion, positive opinion. Think good of others. Mind. Speak good of others. Act in a what you say that? In a positive way towards others. Not harmfully. Okay. So physical level, that is action, speech and mind. At 3 level, it should be very gentle and non-hurting. If somebody hurts others, give you inconveniences, difficulties, then endure them. Okay. These 3 at the level of suffering, enduring the suffering at the level of the body, at the level of the speech, at the level of mind. This is called 3 kinds of tapas. Shariran tapaha, Vachikan tapaha, Manasan tapaha. This is also discussed in the 18th chapter of Gita. At the end, okay, we leave him. We just broadly got the very principle of tapas, the idea of tapas. So there are many ways of tapas. Each person should see according to his lifestyle, according to his profession, according to the area he is living. Accordingly, whichever tapas suits him, at least 1 or 2 tapas, a kind of a tapas everybody should follow. Everybody must follow some kind of tapas. If you slip, that time again do some prayaschitta, expiation, and again continue. So following tapas, endurance, in your own area, wherever we are, everybody needs some kind of tapas. Okay? That's why we have got many kinds of tapas in Hindu Shastras, whichever suits him according to his condition. Certain tapas doesn't suit his physical condition and health, and climate also. Certain climate doesn't suit. Certain bodies won't suit. So he'll give you a slightly different way. Ultimately, the purification of the mind is important, not somehow torturing the body. Okay? Persecuting the body, torturing the body is not the end in itself. Persecution of the body is not an end in itself. What is the point in simply persecute and then you fall sick? Some people do. Later you develop pain in your joint pains, and then again you fall sick and you can't sit on the ground and people need chairs. I think unnecessarily persecuting the body is no point. Body is a body. It just follows a product of nature. It follows certain natural laws. Persecuting the body so much that it will lose its health, natural balance, there is no point in doing that. The purpose of suffering, enduring the suffering, is to purify the inner mind. Okay? It is the purification of the inner mind, making it sensitive, making it ready for vichara, capable of doing vichara, capable of doing meditation. That is the purpose, not somehow to torture the body. Okay? Now the modern fasting is a totally different thing. That is in the name of yoga. It is purely meant for health. Oh, the nature cure follows. And some of the people, the modern yoga is only simply for health alone. They say body accumulates toxins, you fast, and then the body becomes clear, you become healthy. Okay, that's over. It is only just to maintain the healthy body. That is a worldly purpose. It is not a spiritual purpose. Maintaining a health, fasting for health is not spiritual. It's not religious. It is worldly. Any atheist can do, any ordinary man can do, any villain can do. Villain also can do. So it doesn't make him any good person, saintly person, or spiritual person. Fasting for health. Okay, you may do it. Fasting for health also you may do. But that's not the main purpose. That's a secondary. Secondary, you may also do it. But the real is inner purity of the mind. Mind has to be pure, understanding, sympathetic, compassion. It should not lose patience. Why? Because when you lose patience, you will lose patience to see the fact. You lose the objectivity. Mind should be objective. Mind also should be able to be deeply, it should be able to see. An egoistic mind, an attached mind is a prejudiced mind. So my purpose of all this tapas is to make the mind pure, free from prejudices, free from attachment, free from one-sided outlook. It should be impartial, objective, and also should be able to see a deeper things, a deeper insight. That insight it gets when mind is pure. So the purpose of it is to make the mind capable of having a deeper insights. Then that mind is useful for Vedanta. Okay. Now the tapo yajna. Anything else? Krichra chandrayanadi lakshanam yajnam yajno yeshante tapo yajna. Again, next is yoga yajna. In this one shloka, 5 yajnas are mentioned. See, Dravya yajna, tapo yajna, yoga yajna, swadhyaya yajna, jnana yajna. 5 yajnas are mentioned in this one shloka, 28th shloka. Tapo yajna we have discussed. The next is yoga yajna. Yoga yajna is complete yoga. In fact, in these yajnas, yoga has occurred a number of times. Earlier also we have seen. One yoga was, Yama Niyama was one yoga. Dharana Dhyana Samadhi was another yoga. Okay. Pratyahara is one yoga. Shrotradin Indriyanyanye Sanyamagneshu Juhvati. 26th shloka was simple Yama Niyama. It means regarding the food, one is Pratyahara, avoiding all worldly pleasures, all worldly objects. That is again 2 ways. Partly avoiding and completely avoiding. That was one Yama Pratyahara Yajna. Second is And the 27th shloka we discussed Dharana Dhyana Samadhi, that is another yoga. These are all partly yogic yajnas. Now when he said in this 28th shloka, when he told yoga yajna, he means all 8 limbs in one place, that's all. Earlier only a few limbs. One is Pratyahara yoga, another is Sanyama yoga. Now he is talking of all yogic limbs put together, all 8 limbs of yoga. I think you must be aware. Yama Niyama, Asana Pranayama Pratyahara, then Dharana Dhyana Samadhi. All these are the 8 limbs. Now he is telling a complete yoga. Earlier, certain parts were taken. Now he is taking complete yoga. Ashtanga yoga, complete yoga. Yoga yajnas tatha pare. Bhashyakara says, pranayama pratyaharadi lakshano yogo yajno esham te. Anandagiri says, pratyaharadi ityadi shabdena yama, niyama, asana, dharana, everything, all Ashtanga yoga. Okay. Ashtanga yoga, I don't have to discuss it. We leave them because we know all these things. We know partly, and you might be knowing already, or you will learn later. It may come some other place in the Gita. We'll tell later. So all 8 yogas. These 8 limbs of yoga people do more in an atheistic way. Also, people do it. That makes you alert, your body healthy, mind is alert and sharp. So sharpness of the mind and alertness of your mind and also healthy body and a disciplined person. You may be a good person but not a spiritual person. Okay. Just for sake of a good personality, strong personality, nowadays people are using yoga more for making your body healthy, and also mind also develops a good strong personality so that you can achieve the worldly things. You develop a certain good personality and a healthy body so that you can work hard and make money and indulge in worldly pleasures. And people are advocating, not only they are telling, they are advocating. Shall I tell you? Without taking the name, I'll tell you. I met long before, somewhere in South India, I don't want to tell the name also, somewhere in South India. When they told that Swamiji, he is one our yogic guru is coming and teaching us something here. Will you please come? And say, okay. Any gurus there, I'll sit there and listen. And he is telling number of pranayamas and certain yogic techniques and yogic ways, and is advising. And you know what he says? This is not for detachment. The yoga which we are learning is only to strengthen you so that you can live in the world, work hard and enjoy world better. Yoga for enjoying world. Yoga for working better. This yoga is not to retire in Himalayas and all. He was condemning, and he says, yogis in Himalayas are overdoing all the yogas. So they are destroying their life. Nobody should do that. They say yoga is destruction. They say this is a worldly yoga, samsaric yoga. You practice yoga, you develop a healthy body and strong mind so that you can work hard and indulge in worldly pleasures. Yoga for living a samsaric life. This has become very modern fashion now. I see many people talk like this, and then I think most all over the world it has become normal now. Now, not only if they want to use yoga for worldly pleasures, worldly strength and worldly things, okay, let them do. We are not against it. But why condemning the spiritual aspect of it? Yogis want a detachment. They want to avoid worldly pleasures, indulgences, everything. They want to look inward and do something yogic inwardly. And they do whole day, they do it. And these people condemn that. These people, they use the yogic sadhanas for just strengthening your body, mind and sense organs so that you use for working and enjoying the world. And he openly says, don't overdo it, only do half an hour, not more than that. If you do that, you will ruin your health. He says, I heard him openly telling, you will ruin your health. Don't overdo it, only this much. I am not advising you to go to Himalayas. You stay in the world and work hard and enjoy life better. So yoga to enjoy life better. Anyway, we are not talking. If they want to do, let them do. India is free for all. I mean Hinduism. In Hinduism, we don't criticize anybody because we have got all kinds of sadhakas, all kinds of things. So high spiritual sadhana, use it for worldly things also. And we have no blasphemy, as I told you. We have no heresy, we have no blasphemy. Anybody does anything. If yoga is used for worldly pleasures and also criticize the real spiritual yogis, and we don't condemn them, we don't punish them, we don't put them in jail, we say he's a fool and leave them, that's all. Some people attend him, afterwards they will leave him and come away to us. So this is how the Hindu mind is also made. People get attracted to such bhogi yogis. Bhogi yogis, you understand? Yoga meant for bhoga. Yoga meant for worldly pleasures. Yoga meant for samsara. So such yogis, we don't punish them because there is no heresy, there is no blasphemy. And some people get attracted and go and listen to them. We just smile and leave them. And they stay there for some time, maybe 5 years, 10 years. Afterwards, they leave it and come back. See, Hindu mind is such that they will get attracted, live there for some time and leave and come back. So nobody says anything. There is no hatred and enmity between them and us. If they misunderstand spiritual sadhanas and wrongly use yogic sadhanas for worldly purpose, we don't hate them and we don't create enemies out of them. They may criticize once in a while, we'll just ignore the criticism and it's over. That's why the internal criticism, these missionaries fellows, the internal criticism within the Hindus, within the Hindu gurus, Hindu people, Hindu various sadhanas, there are a lot of criticism, mutual exchange, but they are all healthy criticism. It is only, the criticism only shows a difference in various standpoints, that's all. To highlight his own standpoint, to show the contrast between others, we criticize. Criticism within Hinduism or unique, there can be any criticism anywhere, as long as it is a healthy criticism. The purpose of healthy criticism is to show the contrast, to highlight a point and to show the contrast, we criticize. And Hindus understand it. Even if they listen criticism, they listen patiently and then again they don't hate. If you criticize some people, some other sadhakas, other people, you listen patiently and again you go and respect the person. Because we understand the purpose of criticism. So the purpose of criticism is neither hatred, because the heresy, the blasphemy are terrible things, they have them. So even simple gentle criticism is considered as a heresy and then hatred, and say you criticize, that means you hate other person, you don't believe other religions. We don't have such. Within Hinduism, when there are various branches of sadhanas, rishis, books also, one book criticizes others, and Hindus understand this purpose of criticism is to highlight one point and also show the contrast. That's all. And then each one has its application. Certain sadhanas are useful at certain low level, certain sadhanas of higher level, to show the contrast. This sadhana is of lower level, this sadhana is higher level, they criticize. So the criticism helps them to see, oh, this is of this level, this is of this level. So for whatever level you use it. If it is meant for lower level, you use it only for lower level. So the problem is solved. Not creating enmity against them, not dividing people and start hating and quarreling and then killing each other. And this comes only with those religions. Those foreign religions alone, this comes. Therefore they can't understand. Now they come to India, they study Indian Shastra. Now they start creating, put Ramana Maharshi against Shankara and put somebody against somebody. Now they start dividing gurus, they start putting one book against another. Because they come here only for that purpose. Partly consciously, partly unconsciously. Unconsciously because they don't know, that's how they are brought up in their culture. Because the Islam, Christianity, or even Judaism, all the three have the one source, but all the three hate each other. Terribly hate each other. Nobody accepts it. Christians don't accept that Muslims will go to heaven, or even Jews will go to heaven. Nor Muslims think that Christians will go to heaven. They will only go to hell only. Christians will only go to hell according to Christians. According to Christianity, Muslims will only go to hell. So this is how there only one thing. You believe otherwise go to hell. Only one thing, that's all. We just don't have like that. We criticize, but our criticism doesn't. We criticize and differ, but we don't condemn the other fellow will go to hell only. We don't have such a thing at all. Therefore, our criticism is of different level and different context. And they just take it and then they put it in a Christian and Islamic context. They put it in Abrahamic, that monotheistic context. They interpret that way. And lot of books are published, volumes and volumes are published. And they start creating a followers out of Hindus only. Now they publish it in English and Indian languages and sell in India, so that they want to have Indians follow their perverse mind. Okay. Therefore, our Hindus should understand internal criticism. Internal means within Hindus, we do criticize, but it is a healthy way. It helps you to understand nuances, subtle differences, subtle contrasts, and subtle highlighting certain points we criticize. But even whom we criticize, still we respect. You see, even Bhagavad Gita, you see, even Shankaracharya, you see, when he talks of Jnana Yoga, he criticizes karma. Karma criticism doesn't mean you should not do karma. Even we are talking of yajnas. He says Jnana Yajna is highest. Brahma Jnanam is the real Jnana. But other yajnas, that yajna is the highest yajna. But he's talking of other yajnas respectfully, lovingly, he talks of other yajna. This yajna has a lower purpose. But still he is talking, with respectfully talking all these yajnas. And later he concludes. Now let us see, we will see in the next shloka, I think in 31st shloka, I think, conclusive shloka, 31st and 32nd shloka, he says all these yajnas of lower shloka, lower level, there is a real Brahmajnanam. Brahmajnanam is the highest yajna. All these yajnas are of low level. He condemns them. But when he talked them so lovingly, respectfully, then why is he condemning? His condemnation has a different meaning. Condemnation is not of condemning to heaven, hell and all that. The word English condemn is a difficult word because we can't use such a word. We don't have such a connotation now. Condemnation means dismissing. Dismissing doesn't mean like that, that English meaning. Here condemnation I am using in Sanskrit word ninda. Condemnation means ninda. Ninda in Sanskrit in Indian language is a different thing. But we don't know what to use and we use routinely English word condemnation. But condemnation in English means really condemning eternally to hell. That meaning doesn't apply here. We don't have it all. So karma is criticized. Karma is condemned, criticized. Condemned doesn't mean don't follow karma. If you follow karma, you go to hell. This is not the meaning. Condemnation only means it has got a certain limited purpose, a definite purpose, and for that purpose use it and don't go beyond it. A karma can't give you jnanam. Jnanam has a different sadhana. That's what it means. That's all. It doesn't mean condemnation doesn't mean totally throw out and hate it. Condemnation doesn't mean hatred. Condemnation doesn't mean totally condemning. The English condemnation. It doesn't mean total English condemnation of that English meaning. Therefore, the criticism in Hindu context is totally of different meaning. Okay. So, tapo yajna. So, some people accept one tapas and criticize other tapas. That means he loves that and he follows that practice. He does that sadhana and he does it and he experiences it. Therefore, he loves it only. It shows that he loves it and therefore he ignores it. Other people will listen. You see, we had number of gurus. We used to listen to them. One guru criticizes the other. We would listen. And even if he criticizes, we don't consider that what is criticized is really wrong. See, the criticism within Hindu areas, Hindu Shastra is a different. This is really creating a lot of problems. Europeans, Indologists and missionaries are using this internal criticism out of context. They are presenting it as real hatred and enmity. And then one more problem with Hinduism is that the missionaries' criticism also Hindus take lightly. Because the missionary criticism, the Islamic criticism of other Hindu religion, that they go to hell. That's why Christians say that Hindus go to hell. And then Muslims say that, Islam says that Hindus go to hell. Hindus take it lightly. Oh, we say it is just their view. Because Hindus are used to take a criticism as a simple their views. Oh, it is a simple view of Muslims. We don't mind it. Let them hold their view, doesn't matter. If they hold such a view, but Hindus are unable to understand it is not simply view. They really mean it. They kill you, and they have killed. Their criticism is real. They really mean hatred and enmity. But Hindus think it is a simply expressing a view, an idea. Hindus are unable to understand the difference between the criticism within Hinduism and criticism of those religions, Abrahamic religions. And those people are using Hindu criticism equal to Abrahamic religions criticism. And they are interpreting like that, and they are distorting. And Hindus are misunderstanding even that missionaries' criticism and then the mullahs' criticism as simply view is a harmless criticism. Oh, let them hold the view. They call that Hindus, they use any abusive word. They say, oh, it is just their view. Take it lightly. Don't take it. So Hindus are misunderstanding their criticism. They people are using our internal criticism as a more negatively. I tell you, Hindus have to learn. Even Europeans have to learn. When you read lot of criticism, you read lot of Shastras. If you learn Sanskrit and read them, all those things, in translations they summarize, sometimes they abridge it, they reinterpret it. When you translate into English, keeping that English background, I think they will do little bit of different. But if you read directly Sanskrit books, we are just normally, spontaneously we talk. And the listeners also understand, speaker also understand. When I criticize, I know what I mean. And my students also understand, even if I criticize, you just want to highlight one particular aspect. It doesn't mean outright totally wrong. It has its own value. But in this comparison, I am highlighting one point. Other thing also has its own good point. Therefore, our Hindu students also understand it. They take it lightly. But the European, that Islamic Christian criticism, they really mean it. In fact, they really mean hatred and then enmity. It is a God-given enmity, God-sanctioned enmity. And Hindus are unable to understand. I have been telling in my classes, those who have been listened to my classes, they must have seen the difference. I criticize internally within Hinduism. At the same time, I criticize others also. But there is a difference between these two criticisms. Hindus should understand. When Hindus did not understand, I criticized the Hindus also. You must have heard in all my talks. I criticized some of the Hindus also. When I criticize the Hindus, I don't mean hatred and enmity that they go to hell and all that. When I criticize our own Hindus, Hindu gurus, acharyas, I only mean they are ignoring this point. They are ignoring this point. Let them pay attention. That's all it means. Purpose of all my harshest criticism of our own Hindus only means that let them pay attention to this fact. They are ignoring. That's all it means. But when I talk of those religions, I mean it, because they are really creating problems. They are really creating problems. So the criticism has a different meaning. It is a mess up. Hindus are unfortunately thoroughly messed up. They are unable to understand the difference. Okay. So tapo yajna, dravya yajna, tapo yajna, yoga yajnas tatha pare. Fourth, swadhyaya jnana yajnas. Fourth is swadhyaya, jnana is the fifth one in this shloka. 5 in yajnas are talked about in this shloka. Now let us proceed to swadhyaya. Oh, time is up. Okay. How much time? 59. So 1 hour is over. Okay. So we are going slowly. It is a weekly one talk. Daily, if it were daily, we could have covered a few more points. But anyway, swadhyaya is a very interesting thing. So some of the points you may already know. I keep generally when I address many people, I have to keep all people in view. Some people don't know anything at all. Some people know partly. Some people are much more advanced. So for advanced students, this may look simple, superficial. But even for them, a few points come. Therefore, when I am addressing the broad spectrum listeners, So some of them are already known to you. So you have to have patience. Okay, so Swadhyaya is an interesting yajna. Swadhyaya is a yajna, see, reading a book, Parayanas. How Parayana? We have got all Parayana. Every Hindu does it. Whoever, even those who are foreigners, Europeans, take Hindu Diksha, also they also do. Parayana is a very good sadhana in these things. So Swadhyaya is a Parayana. How Parayana is also a yajna, we'll discuss. Every ritual, some people do every day. In fact, we all do everyday Parayanas. Parayana is a good yajna. That also. And Jnana yajna. What is Jnana yajna? These two we'll see in the next class. Okay. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Tat Sat.